Welcome back, everybody, to Freaky Tales episode, I almost said 128, but it's 28. We haven't done that many. Before I introduce my special guest, just a couple of announcements that I want to make. I know many of you have been hitting me up on YouTube comments on the Freaky Tales page for the Spy Smuggler. I just want to clear this up. He will be here. He just has to work around his work schedule because he is working. So, and a lot of people keep saying, where is it? Where is he? Where is he? I'm trying to clear it up now. Okay. He will be here soon. I don't know how soon, but you know, you guys follow him on his page on Instagram, and I'm sure he'll fill you in with all the details on when he'll be able to make it. But other than that, I would like to thank everybody who's tuned in, everybody who liked, subscribed, commented, sharing, you know, those who disliked as well. It's okay. You guys are watching. So I want to thank everyone for joining me here on this Freaky Friday evening. And other than that, we're going to go ahead and jump right into it with my special guest, Nicole, who is no stranger to Freaky Tales.
Oh, no. Thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
Well, you know, I appreciate you being here. We had such a great time last time you were here. A lot of people really, really enjoyed you speaking. You know, you just had a lot of knowledge on what you were sharing, and now you're back. And throughout the week, I know we spoke on what topics we were going to be talking about. And one of the topics that we're going to be covering today is witches, or how we say it in Spanish, brujas.
Yes.
I hear it more commonly now today being mentioned as bruja. You know, now as a kid, I have to tell you, at least for me and my family, we always thought that brujas were green, you know, Halloween hats and broomsticks, like the Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch from the east, and then the other one from the west, and
yeah,
that's what we thought. Now, obviously, it's something different. If you can, like, explain to us, you know, when a person calls themselves a witch or bruja, well, first of all, maybe you can help us. What exactly is a witch or a bruja?
To exactly define a witch or a bruja is kind of hard because there's so many. There's so many levels. There's so many. No, we're not green. We're normal, everyday people. Do we like pointy hats? Yes. Have they become fashionable? Absolutely. Brooms, we don't fly on them, but we do use them, you know, depending on what it is how you use them, other than cleaning our house with it. Because, you know, it's still cleaning the house and then using it as a witch, or they kind of coincide with each other. But a witch or a bruja is somebody who, I believe, from my point of view, is in touch within their magical energy, within their energies, within their beliefs, within how they may see things, how they may hear things. It just all depends on how and who you are, or where you came from, where your lines come from, where your women or men come from. You know, because brujos aren't normally heard of. It's normally brujas, but there are brujos. There are male witches out there.
Okay. You know, I guess I have met several women that have called themselves brujas, you know, identified themselves as witches, but I have yet to meet a male. that has said soy un brujo, or I'm a witch. But yeah, so if there's anybody out there watching that and you're a male and you consider yourself to be a witch, get in touch with me at freakytalespodcast@gmail.com, and we would love to have you on the show. So at freakytalespodcast@gmail.com. If you're a male witch and you want to come share, you're more than welcome. So now, I'm asking from a perspective of I don't know anything, so I want to learn, so I ask. Is there such thing as good witches and bad witches?
I want to say yes.
Okay.
I want to say yes. Yeah, there are such things as bad witches, people who like to practice or dark magic, black magic.
Yeah.
They delve deep into bad spells, hexes, curses, things like that. Then there's good witches who do things like good spells, who do things like white magic, who are in touch with nature, who are in touch with people, who are in touch with whatever it is they may be in touch with. That's why I say there's different, I don't even want to say levels. There's just different variations of a bruja or a witch, depending. But there are people that are good and bad, that do, like I said, practice both, and it just depends on who you may run into, or what they may know, where you find them. Sometimes you find them hidden in a dark corner. Sometimes you find them on Craigslist. Sometimes you find them sitting in a shop out of nowhere. You never know.
Is there a way? And again, I'm asking as if you're in. Let's just say you're in the middle of an audience and you got these people asking questions. That's where I'm coming from. Is there a way to identify a witch? Like, let's just say I walk in somewhere and they're maybe in a bookstore or a library or whatnot, and is there something that they wear, something that they do, so you can identify them right away, or it's not like that?
It's kind of both.
Okay.
A lot of witches or brujas that I've come across that like to identify themselves, that are very out there with their craft, like very, I'm trying to figure out how to put it. They put it forward in the public eye. Not like in a way where they're trying to be like, hey, guess what? Look at me, I'm a witch. But where they're like, oh, yeah, I'm a witch. Like, you can tell some wear symbols. Some, like to do the all black. Yes, we love the color black. Some have tattoos, things like that. And then there's some that just look like normal, everyday people. But when you're a bruja, you tend to sense the energy of another one, and you connect with them. Almost like if you have this sense of you've known them for a lifetime, and you're like this from the get-go. And it's something we can sense each other about. Normal people, or not normal, but everyday people sometimes don't notice it because either they don't believe in it, they're very skeptical, or it's just not something they're looking for. And a lot of us just go about our normal everyday lives, depending on, we may not be able to say much because of our job or because people call us crazy. Some of us don't even care. Some of us are kind of in the middle of it. So it's hard to tell.
Okay.
It's hard to tell.
Have you ever walked into maybe a mall, a market, liquor store, bookstore, whatever, and then somehow kind of like, wow, I felt that?
Yeah, all the time. I have it at work too.
Really?
Yes.
And do you ever like go the extra mile and say, hey, you know what? Are you a witch? Is that the right word to ask someone?
No.
Okay.
What I do is I let the energy kind of speak for itself. If it's in a setting where I'm going to have a chance to talk to that person or something like that, what I do first is I usually like to make a compliment, like, oh, I love your hair. That's a nice shirt or something, just to see what kind of energy comes, they speak from. Because some people may have a good energy and everything, but then when they start talking, that's where they start putting maybe a wall up or a barrier, or maybe they give off they perceive to be good, and then they're not. Sometimes you can tell when somebody starts speaking. So it just depends on the situation. I don't go right up to somebody and be like, hey, guess what? You're a witch. I'm a witch too. But you tend to feel it.
Okay.
If you're in touch with your energy, you tend to feel it. It's kind of like how they say women have the thing where when they're good friends or whatever, they sync their menstrual cycles. It's kind of that type of energy. You sync together with other ones. You can find them just about anywhere. You can connect with them just about anywhere.
Wow. Now, another question. Say that, have you ever met someone and just felt bad?
Yes, absolutely.
Like, what do you, like, I guess for our fans' sake that are watching or tuned in, like, what do you get? Like, this person's a bad person, this person does bad spells, like, what?
It's an energy that makes your stomach kind of uneasy. That's how it comes to me. My stomach gets very uneasy. I start feeling anxious. I have anxiety, and I've learned to deal with it and control it without medications and things like that, meditation and things. So my anxiety level will all of a sudden shoot through the roof, and I start feeling extremely anxious. I'll twitch. I start like looking around. I'm like uneasy. I feel kind of angry. I feel kind of like I'm being very salty, for lack of a better term. And I look around the room to try to figure out who it is, and it's somebody in the room. And what I do is I'm polite, because for whatever reason it is, I'm going to respect you. I'm going to respect whatever it is you practice, whether it's good or bad. But for the most part, I'm going to make sure it's whatever it is that's bad with you, you keep it with you. Don't give it to me type of vibe. I keep my distance, but I'll be cordial, because there's no reason for me to be angry with them or mad with them.
Right. It reminds me of, this only happened to me one time. Now, I don't consider myself a witch. I know I've had guests here that have told me, Tony, you can read and you can feel people. Like, I forgot the words that they were saying, but they were saying you could have an ability. I believe you have an ability or something like that. And I'll be honest with you, I never really dabbled into it, looked into it, because that kind of stuff scares me. I'll be honest with you.
That scares a lot of people.
Yeah. So I'd rather just like, nope, But one time I remember I was going into a casino, and it was towards Palm Springs. I'm not sure exactly which casino it was, because I believe there's a couple out there. And my buddy calls me up and he says, I'm in here. Why don't you come meet me for a drink? And I was like, okay, cool. So we were going to Palm Springs. So before we went to Palm Springs, we stopped there. He was already in there. And as I'm walking in, there's this guy walking out. He had glasses on, and he was just a normal looking dude. I didn't think, he looked evil or anything. But as soon as because when I'm walking towards the inside, I'm looking down, and I remember what I was thinking of. But I look up, and he's maybe 15 feet in front of me, and I remember saying to myself, man, so something didn't feel right. This is the only time, honestly, in my life that I've ever felt, if I can say the word, evil. And I didn't know, like, from a distance, I felt it. And as I get closer and closer and closer, I got the chills. And I'll be honest with you, this guy was a little bit shorter than me. I'm 6'3", he was like maybe 5'8". And I began to run in. And I told my friend, I said, you know what, bro, I got to get the hell out of here, bro. There's a guy out there that's freaked the hell out of me. And he goes, well, what happened? He thought he said something to me. And I go, no, bro, I could take care of myself. But this was something different.
Yeah.
This was something different, bro. I go, I've never felt anything like this before in my life. It was almost like, here I am, and here's this bad energy. And as I walked by, I literally felt it. And I have never, ever felt that. I still remember what the guy looked like. And white jeans, blue jeans, white T-shirt, white guy with glasses, and I still remember his shoes. He had white shoes. And it was just a horrible feeling. I never, ever have felt that from another person, but from that person I did. And I've witnessed where people were having demons cast out of them. I didn't feel that there, but I felt it with this person. So whatever it was, he tried to tell me, oh, maybe it's just you, maybe you were just nervous. I don't get like that.
No, especially if you're the type of person who doesn't get like that and you feel it, it's for a reason. It's just like when I had mentioned in the last podcast about residual energy in places, it's the same thing with people. People leave an energy behind, or they have that energy that just kind of resonates out, and you can walk past, pick it up. Some people are like a sponge. There's times I'm like a sponge and I'll pick it up and then I'm like, wait a second, that's not me. I got to kind of get rid of it. I do what I need to do and it's gone. Or, sometimes you notice it and for whatever reason you're keeping an eye on it. There's stories in the news of people being like that. And they were like, I remember running across this person and this person blew up this building, or I avoided, Ted Bundy and the Night Stalker and things like that. I remember running across him and he said something to me. He scared me. I walked the other way, whatever the case may be. Because they felt that energy and they need to go the opposite direction from it. It happens for a reason. Yeah.
Here's another one, and I believe I might have shared this with the fans here in the past. I won't give away too much detail, but I will say this. I walk into a, let's just say, CVS. I walk in, I turn around, and I see this one guy, and I kept walking, and I don't know why. When I saw him, here's what came to mind. Child molester.
Yep.
And I don't know why I got that. I kept walking, went all the way around, got what I needed to get, and I kept looking at him. I don't know why. I knew the guy who worked there. And I said, hey, man, do you know that guy right there? And he said, yeah, he's always coming in here. He goes, develops pictures and stuff like that. He's kind of a weirdo. And I was like, oh, okay. He goes, why? And I go, no, I'm just nothing. The guy calls me about a month later. I believe it was about a month later. He goes, hey, do you remember that one guy that you told me? And I said, yeah. He goes, this guy came in, brought in some pictures. The machine broke. It wouldn't develop him. Like negatives. It wouldn't develop him. He goes, this guy was still shooting pictures. And this was not too long ago. And he goes, and it got stuck. Well, we told him when we fixed the machine and they did, we'll call you. We looked at them and we had to report them because they were of children.
Wow.
Okay. So he came, picked them up. The cops were waiting for him. Come to find out that he was a child molester. Okay. And it freaked me out. Like it freaked me out that as soon as I walked in, and I just glanced at him like this, and I turned around, and I got it. Now that kind of stuff scares me because I don't like to see stuff like that. So have you or maybe someone have experienced situations like that? Maybe not necessarily a child molester, but something else where
Yes.
you might have read it from somebody or got it, and it came to be
Absolutely.
true.
I've even had the experience to have read that type of energy, like a residual energy, off of somebody that was close to me. And I want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people said the same thing about the person. And still, sas pendejo, he's still like, oh, no, it can't be. So, yeah, I've experienced that. I've had people experience it, my kids, especially my daughter.
Oh, okay.
And it's just, it's scary.
Now, do you feel when somebody is a witch, do you feel the best words that I can, I guess, to make it easy or simple, do you feel that it's a calling, that it's a gift, or can somebody just say, I want to be a witch?
I think it's a little bit of everything. What I learned, because I was having a hard time, as I grew up, I could tell you right now, my grandma was the biggest influence. She was the biggest bruja I know.
Okay.
And may she rest in peace. And I never understood it until I got older. As I got older, I started wondering, wait, my grandma knew this, my grandma knew that, what? Is going on? Why did my brother know it? Why do I know it? Why could I say something and it happens, or whatever the case may be? And as I started to learn to understand it, I would read books, do research. Obviously we have the internet now. Go to certain shops, look at certain things, and some things would catch me, some things wouldn't. Somebody I was dating, I learned some stuff from him because of how his parents are, how his family members are, and things like that. And it's, some people, if they want to practice it, they can. I'm not against it. You want to practice it, you want to learn it, go for it. But one person stood out to me. I was looking to buy some stones and things, and she goes, there's something I want to tell you. And I said, okay. She goes, you don't have to practice everything by the book. You don't have to practice every spell, word for word, or letter for letter, or herb for herb. It comes from the heart. If you read a spell and it has 10 different ingredients and you feel it only needs 8, go with that 8, because your intuition, your bruja intuition is telling you what to use because you're doing it. You're not supposed to do it according to somebody else's energy. You're supposed to do it according to yours.
Okay.
So it all varies for everybody. Some people will follow it to a T, which I get, which I like to learn things like that simply because it helps me to understand better. But if I don't feel it, I don't do it. It's that, because then what's the point? It's not going to work. Like limpias, people use the huevo and they do the whole bit.
Yeah.
I don't use an egg.
Okay.
Mine is very simple. I get the people to relax, meditate, tap into their own energy and tell them, hey, this is all about you. Because if I do it all with me and my energy, once I leave, what's going to happen? I take that with me. Yes, I leave some of it here, but I take most of it with me. You got to do what's good for you, because this is about you. You're the one that wants to feel better. So learn how to do it within yourself. But, I mean, like I said, if people want to practice it, by all means, go for it. But it's not something you buy at Hot Topic.
Right.
It's not something you buy from Amazon. It's not a kit with some sage and some stones that somebody picked out of a gigantic bin and put in. The one thing you don't ever do is buy sage. If you do not understand that, start doing research so you can. Sage is never to be sold, and you're never to buy it. You're supposed to make a donation to get it from somebody. And there's a sacred process that goes into cultivating the sage, growing it, cultivating it, blessing it. It's an entire ritual. I was at a powwow and somebody told me about it, how they collect the sage, they do everything for it, the blessings it goes through, even with tobacco, everything that comes from the earth is sacred. That's how I learned about sage. So my sage, I have a supply of sage that I keep at home that I've gotten in places, and I don't want to say where, but it's a donation. It's a suggested donation, $5, $10, $20, whatever. If you're going to some store and you're picking up a bundle, let me tell you right now, what are you picking up? What are you burning? You might as well just put it in the dirt, because you got everybody else's energy who's picked it up. But on top of that, that person's selling it for profit, which makes it negative from the get-go. And not a lot of people know that. So if you really want sage, look around. You'll find it somewhere. If it says donation suggested or whatever, you see it somewhere, feel the energy out. Don't just buy it off, like I said, Amazon, Hot Topic. You're doing it all wrong if you're doing it like that. That's trendy. If you're doing that, you're being trendy, and please don't, because that's an insult to brujas everywhere.
Wow. I'm glad you're sharing that with us. Let's talk a little bit about spells. Okay, whether good spell or bad spells, do they work?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yes and no. Depends on if you believe in them.
Okay, then does it require some type of faith, maybe?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, let's just say, for an example, what would be an example of maybe somebody that you know that might have done a bad spell, without mentioning any names, and it worked? Would you happen to know of anyone?
I can say I did something and it wasn't a bad spell.
Okay.
But there used to be this person that I worked with. She was very rude, very just, I don't know. She was just very out there.
Okay.
Let me put it that way. And she would take my sales, other people's sales, whatever. She was just very vindictive. She was more bark than bite.
Right.
So I kept telling her, and she always used to say things to me thinking she was going to one-up me. And I told her one day when she was right here barking and I just sat there kind of quiet, I was like, you're going to keep messing with me, and one of these days, watch what's going to happen. It's going to come back to you. And she walked away one day, and everybody else was sitting in the office, and I said, okay, she wants to play with me, so I'm going to show her she needs to learn to humble herself.
Yeah.
She thinks she's the baddest bee in here. She's going to make all the money and F everybody else. No. So I dropped some pennies behind her cubicle. She didn't make money for a couple weeks, and her phone kept dropping. I'm sorry, I have to laugh. Her phone calls kept dropping, stuff kept happening, and then everybody would turn around and look at me, and I was like, just sitting there, and I was like, I can make it stop at any point. I'm not doing it to be vindictive. It's to teach her a lesson. She needs to humble herself, because she's not better than anybody else here. She's supposed to be our equal, and we're supposed to work together as a team, point blank, period. And sure enough, went behind, removed the pennies, and I did a whole, you know what, now she's learned her lesson. She understands. She's a little more calm. Let's make everything back to normal. It all needs to be good energy now, you know, proper energy, positive energy. Let's do this. Her phone started working. She started making sales again. She was quiet for a little while, and then she quit, so I didn't have to deal with her after that.
Wow. Before we get into the pennies thing, are there people that, let's just say that you're trying to do something negative or bad to a certain person? And I'm just, for all brujas that are listening, you know, maybe you're on the live chat, I don't know. Have you ever maybe, or somebody has tried to do something to somebody and it just didn't work? Like, is there people that it just, okay.
Yeah, and what it is though, and this is my belief, I'm not going to speak for all brujas, whether they're, white magic, black magic, natural magic, whatever, my gypsy people, all of them. I don't speak for everybody. This is my personal opinion. I don't like to do bad spells, negative spells, things that are like, this person's going to lose their hair, or this person's going to be unlucky, or this person's, like the pennies thing was just a simple to slow your roll, because it comes back to you. Even in good spells, things come back to you. Whatever you do, it comes back to you. You're the person putting the energy out there. Energy is like a circle. It's always going. So if you start here at a bad thing, it's going to turn around, it's going to come back, and guess what? You're going to get it 5-fold, 6-fold, 7. Whatever your number is, that's what you're going to get. Like mine is 7. So it's going to come back on me 7-fold. Good or bad. So I don't. So when people who may be ignorant or not understanding, well, I don't believe in it, make sure you never do it near me, blah, 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 because I don't want you to do nothing bad. My thing is I'm not going to do nothing bad to you. But me being who I am, and unfortunately my women and I, we have a curse, especially in our love lives. You do something, you do us dirty, and it's going to come back to you. And people can say, oh, that's karma. No. You do us dirty, trust me, it comes back to you. And the more dirty you do it, the more you keep doing it, the harder it comes back. Till you get to the point where you have to come to us and say, what do I got to do to make it better? Or I'm sorry. And my love life has been a disaster, but while they have gotten theirs, I've had one guy come to me and apologize, and now he's living a full life. New kids, new wife, new everything. He apologized to me. And you know what? That broke whatever it was. But for me, I won't do nothing negative. Positive, okay. Yes. Things, like when I'm sorrowful or somebody's hurting, I do my best to put out a positive vibe, but bad things, no. Because that comes back to you.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, all of these, I guess, if I could say, for lack of better words, real brujas know that it comes back to you.
They know.
Okay.
They know. And if they want to believe that it doesn't, you know what, then more power to you. But then maybe that's why you end up with headaches, or maybe that's why you end up catching a cold, and you don't want to believe that's what it is. But if you don't want to believe it doesn't come back, there's going to be little things that do come back. In some way, shape, or form, it comes back. Positive or negative, it comes back. So those are things you have to be careful with. You have to know exactly what you're doing, because then you start delving into deeper. When you start dealing with the negative and the black, you start going deeper and deeper and deeper till you get to a point where it drives you crazy.
Do you know anybody that's been in that practice, of being a bruja? I don't know if the word practice is the actual right word, but that maybe has gone so deep that they're not possibly the same anymore. Maybe how would you say? Maybe they just went too far. And
no, I personally don't know anybody, but I have heard small stories back in the day. People just practicing, and then they got so far into it that their mind kind of just snapped.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, their mind just kind of snapped. Like they were hearing things, seeing things. They just, for lack of a better term, they just kind of went mental, I guess you can say. But I know one person that found their way back from it. The others, I don't know. It was just stories I heard in passing. Like 15, 20 years ago.
I don't know if this means anything, but I'm going to share this with you. I believe I was around 23 years old at the time, and I had my own place. And I remember walking outside one day, and I saw right on my porch, again, I don't know what this is or if it actually means anything, a bird with its head cut off. The head wasn't there, but it was the head was right on my porch. I mean, the body was right on my porch. There was no head. I just looked at him like, oh, believe it or not, and I just kind of just kicked it to the curb area. And then all around my car, and I had a brand new car, I had a brand new Mercedes-Benz, there was pennies everywhere.
Somebody didn't want you to make any money. That's what pennies mean.
Okay.
Well, that's what I was taught. I was taught it's a bit of a gypsy thing, and if I'm wrong, my apologies. But, and I learned it within the tattoo community, which was funny. People don't want you to make money. When they leave you pennies, they don't want you to make money. when you drop pennies on the floor, say you're coming home, you drop pennies on the floor, get them, toss them. I don't keep them. I no longer keep them. When I get pennies in my change, I either leave them at the counter for somebody else to have, or I toss them to the side. I never toss them in front of my own door, in front of my own car, under my own stuff. You know, when I throw them out, I don't throw them out with the intention of somebody else not making any money. I don't want them. If somebody needs them, they can have them. Here you go. I don't want them. And I toss them to the side. Now, if I drop silver, like a dime, a quarter, whatever, I'll kick it under like the couch or my entertainment center, under my bed or something, just so I don't trip on it, slip on it. It doesn't scratch my, like, I don't step on it and scratch my floor up. But if you drop silver, leave it, because you do make money that way. So if you've ever gone into a tattoo shop where the person's old school, they've been around, say, 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years, sometimes you'll see change on the floor. When they get silver change, sometimes they throw it, it falls out, they throw it. But when they get the pennies, you'll see them toss the pennies right out the door, because the pennies keep them not making any money, and they want to make money. So they leave the silver ones on the floor.
Oh, wow. You know, it's funny because I spoke to some lady. I don't know what she practiced, to be honest with you. This was at a swap meet, and I'm a swap meet baby. My mom, sold at the swap meet. So one day I saw this lady that sold, like, I remember it was weird. I even saw a dried monkey, like a dead dried monkey that she was selling. Like, I don't know what that was, but she was, what is that word? A healer, una curandera?
Yeah.
Okay, so I asked her, what do the pennies represent? Now, she told me something different. She said that a penny represents a value of life. That's what she said. And then she said, with that bird, you put it together, somebody wanted you dead. And I was like, holy crap,
Yeah, obviously a headless bird is a bit of a bad omen.
Yeah.
But like I said, it just depends on the use. All the times I've come across the penny thing, it's always been because somebody didn't want you to make any money.
And here's another funny thing. I haven't had one of those dead birds since, I want to say maybe 93, somewhere around there when it happened. And then earlier this year, somebody threw a headless bird over to my fence, over my yard. So yeah. At
the end of the day, you can give it back to Mother Earth, the universe, Gaia, whatever, your beliefs in, or whatever you want to believe in.
Right.
You can always just, bind the bird in a red cloth. My color is red. You can research whatever color may stick out to you. Like I said, colors have specific meanings. There's candles, things like that. But my color is red, so what I do is I bind a lot of things with red, because it's a very positive, lucky color. You can always just bind the bird, salt around it, say, I don't believe in this, whatever this is meant to be, to do harm or to do some sort of negative energy towards me. I'm sorry, I don't believe in it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give you back to the earth. You can actually take it and go bury it somewhere if you want, and just kind of give it back, give it some peace. Because the bird didn't know what it was getting into when the person did that to it.
Right.
It's not your fault. It's the person who did it. And what you do is you take that negative energy and you're just throwing it back out there. And whatever negative energy this is meant to be, I don't believe it. I don't want it. Let it come back with some positive energy. You don't ask for it to do harm back to the person who did it. You just ask it to go away. It's that simple.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this one. And this is kind of a good one right here. And I hope you guys are listening on the live chat. Are there real love spells?
Absolutely.
So there is something out there that works?
Yes, and for my exes or any current people, no, I did not use any on you. So I'll tell you that right now. I don't like using those either. There are things that work, but for the most part, it's all about the belief. The belief in the person who wants it done, and the belief in the person doing it. The belief in the person doing it, if they want to charge you an F-ton amount of money, they're doing it for the money. So it's not going to work regardless.
Okay.
If they're doing it because you can tell they have a kind spirit and they want to help you, listen to what they have to say, because the universe is having them talk to you about what you may need as far as that love spell goes. If you believe it, but you have to be careful when it comes to spells, because, for example, oh my God, I'm so in love with you. I want you to be with me. Let me go do this. Okay, then you do it. Then it's like one of those things where you're annoying, and I'm like, can you kind of go away? Do you see what I mean? You got to be careful what you're asking for, because you may be asking for too much. When you ask for something specific in a spell, in an intention, when you light a candle, whatever the case may be extremely specific with it and ask for a confirmation to follow. Simple. Okay. That's how I do it. Other brujas may do it different, but there are love spells that do work. I personally don't like doing them because at some point when the love wears off, that's where the backfire comes in and it turns into something awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. When a person, let's just say hypothetically, a guy comes up to you, he goes, you know what, I really like this girl. I work with her. I just really want her to like me back. I want her, I want to be with her. The kind of woman that I can fall in love with, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Mm-hmm. And let's just say you do it, or somebody does it for him. Mm-hmm. Does she automatically hi, handsome?
No. What it is the energy is put into the spell. So the energies will draw them together kind of like magnets. Okay. So it's see, for me, if somebody told me that at work, I would be like, okay, well, who is it? Oh, okay, let me see. And what I do is give me a couple of days, let me see. I'll walk past both people, see them interact, whatever. And I'll be honest with them. I don't think it's going to work. Why? I get what you're saying. Maybe as a person, just ask her out, see if she wants to go on a date, but there's something about it where you two, your energies, I can't see you guys clicking. I could see you guys being acquaintances and talking at work, but I can't see you guys clicking. I always check out the people and say, oh, well, what can you do for me? Why do I have to do it when you're the one that wants to fall in love, or you're the one that wants to date them, or you're the one that wants to be with them? That's you. That's your energy. My advice, just be a person. Start as a friend. Right. I give normal, very general advice to it. And then I see, if it looks like something that may work, then I'll keep walking past them. I'll talk to both of them. I'll kind of be like the wingman, so to speak. And then I go home and I light a candle saying, hey, you know what? These two people feel like their chemistry is very good. Their connection is very strong. Their energy is very strong. I'll light a candle. I'll say a blessing. I'll make an offering. And I'll do something like a positive type of prayer, so to speak. Okay. And put out, because I love hard. So I put out my love energy into it. Mm-hmm. And it's I want the best for these two people. Later on, it ends up working. I'm a very good matchmaker. Okay. So it works, but if it looks like it's not going to work, I'll tell them right off the bat. Sorry, homie, it's not going to work. No.
Even with the spell?
No.
Okay. Now, do spells ever wear off?
Yes, absolutely.
So let's just say you do a spell for a guy named Joe Blow, and the girl, they click, and he has her. How long does he got before possibly it wears off? Or is there a time limit?
I can't say that there's a time limit. Some people do them with time limits, a 7-day thing, a 30-day thing, whatever the case may be.
Oh, wow.
What it is just, if we put those positive energies and prayers out and did those, blessings, or like the meditations, and, did like what spell work, I'm telling them, okay, now from this point, it's your turn. You got to do the work. You got to that point. This is what you needed to get help. Mm-hmm. You got to that point. Now, if it feels like they may be not necessarily falling out of love with you, but losing interest, try to figure out what it is. And then from there, it's just, you know what? I want these people to keep going. They need a little help. They need, you just got to kind of recharge it like a phone. You just kind of recharge it. Now, if you're always looking to always recharge it, always use some specific stone, candle, spell, or whatever, then maybe that's honestly not the relationship for you. That's just something for you to have in passing to teach you. And you just need to move on to the next person. Because you shouldn't rely on something like that to keep somebody. You should rely on yourself.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I already know this answer, but I need to ask. I'm sure there's been people that have approached witches and have said, I want that guy done away with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've heard of it. I've never heard it personally. I've heard of it.
Right.
That happens a lot because people get angry.
Really?
But it's, like I said, you start putting energy out like that, you're going to start having bad shit happen to you. Point blank, period.
And the person,
it's going to happen.
So let's just say hypothetically, I'm a witch, and a guy comes up to me and goes, "I want to do away with fulano, I want to do away with Felipe." Okay, all right, cool. Me being the witch, knowing that if I'm about to curse that guy, hoping he deceases or whatever, I have to realize that that's going to come back to me.
Yeah, so it's going to take somebody you love. You're going to watch death happen. It's not going to happen to you.
Oh, no.
I had somebody who was extremely angry with me because they couldn't take responsibility for what they did. And they, for like 3 or 4 days, wished death upon me. I didn't know until they told me not that long ago. They ended up losing somebody close to them. It was actually somebody that was close to the both of us. And I had to attend this person's funeral on my birthday. Come to find out that this person was wishing death on me. And then they ended up losing somebody they considered a brother. So that's the type of stuff that happens. And it's sad because this person was young. Was very young, was in his 20s. And that's, you mess around with things like that, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing to play with.
No, absolutely not. And you have to respect the craft. Plain and simple. Even like with Santa Muerte, people are like, oh my God. If you don't understand it, don't say nothing about it. Don't be ignorant about it.
Correct.
Don't.
Okay, we'll switch gears up here a little bit. Tarot cards, are those real? Does that?
Yes, I know somebody who knows how to do it, and they do a really good job at it. They're not at their peak about it like they'd like to be. Well, I mean, I haven't spoken to them in a few months, but he knows how to read them very well. I've had my cards read twice because I'm very, very skeptical on it. I go based on the energy. I've always been skeptical of tarot cards.
Okay.
But I've had my cards read twice, and both times they were right. And the second time the person did it, this person asked me to cut the deck. So what I did was I cut the deck. I picked it up. I did what I wanted to do, and I held the deck, put some energy into it, and I put it down. And when the lady went to go pick up the deck, it was almost like a static electric shock. And she just she put the deck down. She goes, I don't know what kind of power you put in that deck, but you put something in that deck. She goes, it's not that it's bad. It's just scary because I haven't felt energy like that in 20-something years. And it was an older lady doing like tarot readings just for like entertainment purposes in a restaurant. So I thought, I'll pay her the $20 and just see. When she read the cards, she was right.
Wow. You know what, stuff like that scares me. So let's just say, I don't know, I go to somebody, hey man, read my cards, and then death comes up. Nobody wants to see that.
No, but death has different meanings. So that's the thing is people can't assume death. Pulling a death card is just, oh my God, somebody's going to die. Your cat can die, or an old life you were living, you want it to be done, is going to die. Some bad habits you have are going to die. Death can bring on many different forms and meanings. Don't be scared of it. Respect it. Respect it. If you respect death, you can understand it a little bit more. That's what makes it so easy for me to do the job that I do now, being a funeral director, because I respect it and I understand it. And people are like, oh my God, why not? They're still, it may be a physical body, but they're still somebody.
Right. Wow. So have you, well, I know you said you don't do the tarot cards yourself, correct? Okay, somebody else does. Can somebody that does tarot cards, can they do their own?
They can.
Okay.
But from what I've learned, I don't know if I'm right, so if I'm wrong, forgive me. I know they have to be in a very good meditative state.
Okay.
It's always best for them to do it in a very positive state, because if they do it when they're very sorrowful or hurt or angry, stuff comes up that they don't understand. It's almost like a fog. But people can read their own cards. I know people who do it all the time.
Okay. Now, other than tarot cards, is there any other type of readings?
I mean, there's tea leaves, palm readings.
Palm readings. Is palm reading actually real?
I don't know. I've never had my palm read because I'm afraid for somebody to... it's not that I'm skeptical. I'm just afraid for somebody to grab my hand and say, hey, because I had one lady want to read my palm during a psychic event. Somebody and I used to go to a lot of them, and because they have them all the time pre-COVID. And I was walking by and some lady just kept staring at me as I was looking at the different booths, and she grabbed my hand. And I was walking by, she just grabbed it and held it, and I was like, no. She goes, but I need to. I said, no, because I already know what you're going to say. I don't want to know. Just please don't. And I kept walking. That's why I won't have nobody read my palm, simply because I know how my energies are. And there's things I know that are going to happen. I can't say I know are going to happen. I sense are going to happen. I don't want nobody to confirm it yet because I'm not at peace with it yet, if that makes any sense.
Okay. Of course, I've had people ask me, can I read your palm? Can I read your cards? But me, I don't want to dabble into that. I really don't, because I will be honest with you, I'm a skeptic when it comes to those things. But that's why I'm glad you're here, because you're helping me, I guess, get some clarity on some of these questions. Now, crystal balls, are those real? Do
I
those
want to
work?
say yes and no. I've only had one person, I guess you could say, read a crystal ball. I think what it is, and again, I'm not 100% on this. If I'm wrong, forgive me.
Right.
I'm only going by what I've seen. People use it as like they meditate on it, and it helps them to focus to see what they need to see about that person, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
It's not like a whole, Madame Zamora and this whole bit, that's obviously mainstream media. That's things to scare you or entice you, whatever. But for the most part, I believe in a sense they're real, but some cases I don't. I go by the person doing it.
Okay.
You'd have to be with me to understand, or some people may understand this. When you go to get a palm read, tea leaves, crystal ball, tarot cards, whatever, chicken bones, anything, whatever it may be, go by the person doing it. I do, and I know a lot of people that do. They like, oh, I'm not feeling that person's energy, or I'm not feeling this. That one, like somebody will stand out to you, and you want to go to that person, regardless of whatever it is, how they're going to read you. You want to go to that person because that person's, whatever it is, there's something about your energies that are kind of connecting,
Right.
and you'll get the truth regardless of the price. But a lot of people do it just like, oh, come here. They're doing it for the money. If they're doing it for the money, they're no good.
Yeah.
That's just, if you're doing it, people ask me to do limpias all the time, or small blessings or things like that. Like somebody I know that I sort of work with had somebody close to him pass away. I don't want to reveal too much. And when I was in Arizona, I went hiking on some Native American grounds to see pictographs, hieroglyphs, things like that.
Yes.
I did a blessing. I lit a charcoal, lit some sage, had my crystals out, to my stones and everything out to get some energy from the sun. And while I was there, I put some tobacco on my charcoal, and I gave some to the earth, and I did a blessing for this person's deceased loved one, because I know how much he was hurting just by looking at his eyes. We're not super close or anything. We talk in passing. We're cool people. Hey, what's up, my G? Whatever.
Right.
But you could tell he was hurt. And I soak up pain. I can tell people's pain when they're hurting. I can tell when somebody's upset, whatever. And I told him, hey, I did this. This is what I did. He's like, man, I want to learn how to do that. So I invited him. I said, one of these days when you're up for it, let me know. We'll go for a hike, sunset. The sunset's the best time, not sunrise, sunset, because the sun set on your person. So that's when you have to do the blessing.
Oh, wow.
And, oh, no, I'll pay you. No, what am I don't do it for money.
Right,
I don't.
right,
I really
right.
don't. I do it to help the people, because that's what type of person I am.
Now, let me ask you this. I've interviewed, well, I don't want to even say the word interview. They've been my co-host here on Freaky Tales. And do you know any witches, I guess, that can possibly speak to the dead or have heard from the dead? Or is that a totally different practice?
That's a whole nother practice. I think it's called, again, if I'm wrong, somebody correct me. I think it's called like necromancy.
Okay.
Speaking to the dead.
Okay.
Some people do, some people don't. Some people hear, like on the last podcast I said, where some people can see things more than they can hear things,
Right.
and some people can hear things more than they can see things. But people who practice it, I believe it's called necromancy, where
Okay.
they practice trying to speak to the dead. Now, speaking to the dead and speaking to people on the other side are two different things. They're not the same. They're not the same.
Okay. Wow. I didn't know that. Now, earlier you had mentioned that a lot of witches wear black. Is that something significant, or is that just your
Black
favorite
is actually
color?
protection color. It's
Really?
not a negative color. It's a form of protection. Like when I notice certain things happening in my life, especially chaos. Like I have this thing that happens where somebody that I was super close to, when I know he's lurking or he's around or he's going to do something that's going to have some sort of effect on me or that I'm going to see, my anxiety gets heightened. I'm like, okay, he's going to say or do something, whatever. I light a black candle for protection. I know he's not doing anything bad or intentional. It's just, that's our bond. That's our connection. Regardless of however he may, I know he's going to see this. And regardless of however he may feel, he knows that there's a bond and a connection there, and he knows he still affects me. But that's how I get affected, is by my anxiety. So what I do is I light a black candle for protection, because I don't know what may be attached to him that may come my way. But black is actually a protective color.
Now, when somebody asks you, for an example, to do a cleanse, or like we call it, una limpia in Spanish, well, why do people come? Like, for an example, like if, say I go to you and I go, hey, I need a limpia. Do you ever say like, why do you feel you need a limpia?
Yeah, that's the first thing I say.
Okay.
Why do you feel you need one?
What do people, is there like one popular answer that they usually give you, or is it it varies?
I'm just, oh yeah, I'm having a hard time in my life. I'm having a lot of bad stuff happen. Those are the two top answers.
And when somebody goes for a limpia, is it because they think that somebody has put something on them, or they just feel almost like they just need a cleanse to start over?
It varies.
Okay.
It varies. It varies. I was dating this girl. She was really ratchet. She was very bad. She was, or I had somebody do me dirty, and I think they may have left something behind on me, or, it varies. It varies. And when I do limpias, nobody ever comes to my house. I go to them, because that's their home, that's their energy, that's their space, because I can have them come to my house and do limpias all day long. You're going to go home and that residual energy is still there. So what are you going to do?
Okay.
So I go to what their domain is.
Okay. Okay. So now, have you ever did a limpia and then really felt like, okay, somebody put something on him?
Yeah.
You can pick that up?
Yeah. I can sense it.
And do you ever like identify to them and tell them like somebody did it? Do they usually say, I think I know who it is? Or?
I had this person say they didn't believe it, that maybe it wasn't that person, maybe it was me. Wow. Okay. Yeah, because I remember this one guy that I won't say his name because I know he's probably listening. He went to somebody's house to go get a limpia. He actually went to somebody, and that person told him, somebody did this to you, and they actually have a voodoo doll on you. I don't know how she knew that. I've heard that before. I've heard stuff like that before.
Really?
Yes.
Now, are voodoo dolls real?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. So, again, I'm being comical because I don't know. Is it the kind you put the needle in and you stab them?
It could be anything. It could be anything. A lot of people believe, well, you need something from that person. That does enhance it, and it does help, like a piece of hair or a piece of clothing or something. Yeah, you can put needles into it, but it's not like, oh my God, let me stab this, voodoo doll in the arm with the needle and this person's going to break their arm. No, that's like mainstream media type stuff. What it is, you want that person to feel a little bit of pain, or you want them to have bad luck or whatever. It could be anything. And it's not just voodoo. It's also in witchcraft. You make a doll or something that symbolizes the person.
Okay.
Like, making a doll of an ex or somebody you don't like, whatever the case may be, a bad landlord. I'm making this doll. It symbolizes my bad landlord. I'm going to write his name on it. They're very simple to make. You can make them out of anything. Okay.
Now, let's just say that, in the limpias, I know you said some people do, some people don't use an egg. Do you know what the egg represents?
I'm going to be honest with you, no. Because for whatever reason, that's never caught my attention.
Yeah,
limpias with the huevo, they've never caught my attention at all. So when somebody asks me, I'm like, I don't know. Okay, which is kind of bad. I should know. Yeah. I should research it and know, but because it doesn't catch my attention, I don't bother with it.
Okay.
But I know that you do it. They rub it all over you, whatever the case may be. Person leaves, they crack the egg, and supposedly everything inside the egg is black. That's the basis of it, because they removed everything. It's supposed to be like a sponge to collect everything, but like I said, not that I don't believe in, doing the limpia with the huevo.
Right.
You know, that's everybody's preference. It just does not catch my attention. It does not catch my energy, so I don't even bother with it.
Okay, because I remember I was a kid one time and I saw something under a friend's bed. He had like a little bowl. He had, of course, water. Well, I'm not sure if it was even water or just an egg. And I noticed he had the little sticks from a broom. Mm-hmm. And they just broke it and kind of made a fence around the yolk. And he put it under his bed. And I asked him, and I was just a kid, and this was the first time that I've actually ever seen this. And he said, "Oh, it's for protection." He said, and again, he was young, and he's just repeating what I guess his family told him. Somebody was trying to do some harm to me. He goes, "So it's for protection." And I was like, "All right, you know." I have a question for you before we go to our intermission break. And somebody knew that you were going to be here, and he just wanted to know, but you said you didn't really know what the egg symbolized. When somebody throws eggs at your house or your front door, is that just somebody just being rude, mean, or possibly does that symbolize something in the...
No, it doesn't symbolize anything. It's somebody being rude, and if you want help throwing eggs back at them, let me know. I haven't been 12 in a really long time, so I'd like to throw some eggs at somebody's house, to be honest. It symbolizes absolutely nothing other than the fact that you're going to have to clean a mess and get it before it gets hot.
Yeah.
So it's gross and hard to clean up.
Okay, everybody. We're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute intermission break. We're also going to be taking phone calls after we tackle our subjects. We're going to be talking about, and I'll tell you when we come back. But make sure you let somebody know that Freaky Tales is on, and I'm with special guest Nicole. And we'll be back in 5 minutes, so stay tuned. And welcome back, everyone, to Freaky Tales Podcast, episode 28. Earlier, I almost goofed up and said 128, but it's 28. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in on this Friday evening. And without further ado, once again, my special guest, Nicole. How you doing?
I'm good.
You enjoying yourself?
Absolutely.
I'm glad you're here. You know, somebody texted me and wanted me to ask you a question. Hopefully you can help us out, may shed a little bit of light on what's going on. This person walks out of their home, and in their driveway, I guess, in front of their vehicle. What should I say? Their vehicle's parked in the driveway, so before they can get out, there was a pile of rocks. I guess a pile, like maybe forming a little pyramid or altar or whatever the case may be. Does that mean anything that you know of?
I know rocks mean something. I just don't know quite what. I would suggest maybe Google it. I know it sounds kind of silly, but Google it and see. But at the end of the day, if you don't believe in it, just deal with it. Don't be disrespectful. Pick all the rocks up, give them back to the earth, put them back in the dirt. Just be like, here you go. You guys belong over here with the dirt.
Yeah.
Whatever it is somebody's trying to do, I don't believe in it. It has no power here, no bearing here, no meaning here. Here you go. Just put them back in the dirt and be done. Be done with your day and be on your way.
Yeah, yeah. I believe something like that simple can be handled like that. I had heard that rocks were used for altars, for ceremonies, I guess, but I'm not sure.
They were also used for directions. Native Americans used them to mark different directions, like paths, and they knew where they were going.
Okay. Now I want to bring up my notes, and I want to talk about superstitions.
Okay.
Superstitions. For an example, I'll bring one up. People say that black cats are bad luck. If you see a black cat, or if a black cat looks at you, or just in general, is that true?
No.
Okay.
Okay, wait, let me rephrase that. I don't believe it to be true. It was something that was started way back when people were so fearful of witches, when they were burning us at the stake, when they were hanging us, drowning us, whatever the, Salem witch trials. They believed that black cats were bad luck because witches were always seen with cats, or black cats, simply because it's a familiar. What people don't realize is a familiar is something that's completely like, kind of like a companion, like your spiritual companion. My daughter, her familiar is cats. Point blank period. It's always been cats. Even though when she was born, she was allergic to them. One day she just wasn't. And she has a black cat. She named her little kitty Juice. But that's her familiar. They understand each other. She can talk to the cat meow back, They're not bad luck. They're familiars. For me, when I see a black cat, I feel like my daughter's missing me, and that's her way of saying hi. So I kind of, into the universe, into the air, I'm just like, hi, princess, I miss you, I love you. Next thing you know, I'll get a message from her that'll say, I love you too. Almost as if she heard me. She'll be like, Mom, I was thinking about you right now. For whatever reason, I heard you say, I love you. So it's, black cats are not bad luck. If you start believing they're bad luck, you're just giving fear into paranoia, and you're just feeding it. And so you're going to cause your own bad luck, so to speak.
I saw a meme one time that had a sad black cat, and he said, I'm not bad luck. It was a white cat who said that.
I've seen that one. No, cats are not, black cats, any cats are not bad luck at all. They're actually guardians and protectors of the afterlife, the underworld, whatever.
Really?
They may be, yes.
And now, okay, just since you brought that up, can animals feel things like?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so.
My pup that I used to have used to chase a duende around the house. We knew when the duende was out because the dog would chase it.
So you believe that in duendes?
I absolutely do.
Okay. This is my kid mentality now, okay?
Yeah.
Is the duende a spirit, or is it a literal?
Duendes are supposed, if I remember correctly, and forgive me, I'm a little bit of a whitewashed Mexican. Duendes are supposed to be like little gnomes.
Okay.
They like to take things, keep things, whatever. Sometimes I've heard different stories about you can keep something out to keep it happy so it doesn't take what you really want it to take. Other times, they're very mischievous, whatever the case may be. Duendes don't like fairies. So if you hang baby's breath in your house, it attracts fairies, and duendes kind of keep each other at bay, so you don't have either one in the house.
Okay, so you believe in fairies too? What is baby's breath?
Baby's breath is the little white flowers, like when you buy a rose, those little tiny, tiny white poofs that are in with it to make it look pretty. That's called baby's breath.
I never heard that before.
I have some white baby's breath. You can use it for a lot of different things.
Okay. So animals can actually feel.
Sense people who have passed, sense things that are going to happen, sense when you're sick. sense little things. Like I said, like duendes, my dog used to chase one into like a little hall closet and would just scratch at the door.
Wow.
You know, they sense a lot.
Can a duende be caught?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
Can they be seen? Absolutely, because I seen it. Not full on like, hey, guess what? Look at me. But it was like a shadow. Like, you know what shadow people, you see them out of your peripheral.
Right.
I was sitting, you know, using the restroom. You know, I was living with the ex, so keep the door open. We would talk,
right,
whatever.
Right.
And I went to go turn my head. I forgot, like I heard something out the bathroom window, so I turned my head, and out of the corner of my eye, I seen something small run from my couch into the hall. So it's like my bathroom, a hallway, and the doorways are kind of like this. You could see straight through to the couch, and I could see the ex sitting there, and the dog was there. And the dog kind of perked up, and it's a Frenchie. His name is El Gizmo. So El Gizmo hopped off the couch and ran over to the little door and just started kind of like barking at it. And I told the ex, I said, hey, and he goes, what's going on with the dog? I said, I saw it. He goes, you saw what? And I said, the duende. It came out from under the couch in the corner, and it went into the hall. Why do you think he scratches at the hall? The closet door, when you open it, he's sniffing around. He knows it's there, and he'll sit and stand guard. Well, the ex kind of said some stuff in Spanish. And I said, remember, don't get mad and piss it off. So he said some stuff in Spanish. He explained to me what he said. I don't want to repeat what he said. But he said some stuff, and it kind of kept everything at bay, but the dog would just walk around kind of like on guard. And then when they left, and I don't have that guard anymore, I started hanging baby's breath. And I don't have to worry about, like, every now and then I sense like it's in there. But I'm like, okay, I know you're in here. I know you want to, you know, F around, mess with my stuff. Don't, because there's very important sentimental stuff here. If you want something, you really, really want something, there's a top shelf with a bunch of stuff that does not belong to me. You can take that. Everything else, leave alone.
So doing this, are some bad, some good, or are they all?
Some bad, some good. They're mischievous. A lot of the times they're mischievous. I once woke up with part of my hair cut. And I used to have really long, beautiful hair. And part of my hair was cut.
Wow.
That was scary.
Wow.
That was pretty scary, losing some of my hair.
So we talked for like horseshoes. You mentioned that they need to be hanged up.
Up, so the luck doesn't spill out. That's what I was told.
Okay.
Long time ago, when you hang a horseshoe in your house, wherever above the doorway, you hang it up like this, not like this, because if you hang it like this, the luck spills out. Like it comes in and it goes out, comes in and goes out, kind of doesn't stay long. You know, you hang it up and you want the good luck, the luck kind of just settles in there. So as everybody walks through, or as you walk through, you know, positive things are happening or whatever, everything stays kind of lucky and kind of protected in a way. If it's up, if it's down, everything spills out.
Wow. Okay. Now, spilling salt or throwing it over your shoulder. What does salt represent anyway?
Salt, to a lot of people, not just brujas and stuff like that, is protection. So you put a line of salt at your doorway, and I do this all the time because I regularly do a limpia in my house and stuff like that. Put a line of salt, and what it does is it keeps out the bad energy, it keeps out the bad stuff, negative stuff, because bad and negative are not the same thing. Just so people know they're not.
Okay.
It keeps out the bad people, the bad intentions, you know, whatever the case may be. Put a line of salt. You use it in spell work. You use it as a barrier. So, like, sometimes if you can't draw your circle with a wand, with a broom, with your sage, whatever it is you like to do, sometimes you like to do salt. When I do my spell work and meditations, I use salt for all over, you know, the altar or whatever I'm doing, because it will keep it bound. And will keep it protected away from whatever may be trying to get in to ruin whatever meditations I'm doing.
I mean, I don't know if you know, maybe people can Google it, but why do people throw salt, you know?
I honestly, I'm still trying to kind of figure that out, but I know it was when you intentionally pour salt out to use it as protection, that's one thing. When you spill it unintentionally, it's like, oh no, maybe I'll get some bad luck. And you know, people started just throwing it over their shoulder.
Oh, okay.
My grandma used to do it, and I was like, Grandma, what are you doing? I spilled salt. It's going to be bad luck. She threw it over one shoulder. Well, as I got older, I started forgetting what shoulder to throw it over. So I just, you know what? For good measure, 1, 2. I just throw it over both. There you go.
Okay. So now let's look at, you said itchy palms, good luck or money, to scratch or not to scratch?
Yeah. I've heard it both ways. Itchy palms, I've heard it when one hand itches, it means money. When the other hand itches, it means no money. I've heard when your hands itch in general, it doesn't matter which one, it means money or it means good luck. I've heard to hold them closed. I've heard to itch them. I had one person, his palm would itch, and he'd go like this, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to scratch it. No, scratch it. Trust me, scratch it." And I listened, and I was like, "Well, you know what? Okay, I'm going to trust what you have to say." My hand would itch. I would scratch it, but then I would hold it when it'd get towards the end of the itch.
Right.
And I'd just be like, okay, it probably means money. And sure enough, I'd get money out of nowhere.
Okay. Now, this is one that I've heard since I've been a kid, okay? Broken mirrors, 7 years bad luck.
Oh, yeah, who hasn't heard that?
Right. True, false, are mirrors used in the craft?
Yes. Mirrors are generally believed to be a window to either the other side or to the soul, depending. Okay? So that's why there's a lot of beliefs when somebody passes or when you're having a wake, a rosary or something like that in somebody's home or whatever, you cover the mirrors. Why? Because you don't want anything coming through while you're doing what you're doing. Okay? It's not that you're intentionally calling anybody to come through. It's just you're in your moment, you're in your element, and you're honoring somebody who's passed. So you want to keep whatever may possibly come through that mirror because it's like a doorway out. So you cover them when you're in mourning, when you're doing that. When you break them, it's believed it takes about 7 years to regenerate cells in the body. So that's why they say 7 years bad luck, because it's going to take 7 years to regenerate everything. Honestly, I do believe a little bit it is, bad luck, but it broke for a purpose. I believe it's bad luck if you keep it, but it broke because something was trying to get through, and whatever you did blocked it. So that's what happened is it hit it, broke it. Because I hardly ever break a mirror, and whenever a mirror breaks or I break a mirror, there's always been a lot of chaos in my life or a lot of bad stuff happening. So what I do personally is I bind it. I sage it. I take a red candle and I melt the wax all over the crack to kind of seal it. I put salt on it. I wrap it and I bury it. I either bury it or I throw it away. If I do decide to throw it away, I wrap it in a cloth, I wrap it in a bag, and I tell it, I appreciate the service you did. You helped me to get ready in the morning. You helped me to see behind my back when I was trying to look at somebody talking to me and I was in the middle of doing something. Whatever the case, whatever I use the mirror for, I tell it thank you for its purpose, and then I just deal with it.
So things, wow. The reason why I'm asking is because I remember, I want to say possibly elementary school. Somebody had passed away of a family member of a friend. And we were at their house. I remember we were there eating. And I remember the mom had mirrors, but she had put stuff over them. And in her room, when I walked by, she had a big mirror where she would get ready. The white sheets on every, and I was like, what the hell? Like, I didn't get it. But now you're shedding a little bit of light on that. I didn't know that things can come out, or is it just come out or go in?
Some people believe that, like, example, you're a good person, Say when you're getting ready in front of your mirror, you need to check your hat, check your cejas, make sure everything's all lined up. You're getting ready to go and you're looking in the mirror, but somebody intentionally wanted you to be a bad person. Your bad person's on the other side of that mirror. So what happens is you're staring at it, and what it does is it comes through and your good personality goes to the other side. So your good personality is trapped on the other side while your bad one's running around. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So a lot of people do believe that.
Okay.
Me, I'm kind of on the fence about it, but it's a lot of, the mirror is like a window to the soul, because at the end of the day, when you want to do something and you want to depend on somebody, you depend on yourself. It's like if you're having a hard time, you need to pep yourself up. What are you going to do? Obviously, you're going to put your music on. You're going to get hyped,
Yeah.
You're going to, whatever, pick your poison, smoke, drink, whatever. Meditate. You look in the mirror and you say, you know what, I got this. I can do this. I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to do this. And you're talking to yourself. The more positive energy you put into yourself, especially when looking through a mirror, more positive energy is going to come back. But there are times when things can come through. And that's a little bit difficult to say when it happens, but a lot of times it's when there's chaos or bad things going on in your life.
Wow. I saw a quote that said something like, and this was on social media, it said something Like you can lie to your friends, you can lie on social media, you can lie to your family, but that mirror in your bathroom is cold-blooded, meaning
You can't lie to yourself.
you can't lie to yourself.
Exactly.
You know, and I'm going to say this. I wish a lot more people would just take the time to look at themselves in the mirror. You know, I really wish, because I've known people, and I'm going to be honest with you, Nicole, I do not know how they live with themselves.
Same.
And I say this not because I heard, not because I read somewhere or somebody told me, you know, because I know it. All they do is spew out hate, misery, you know, anger, jealousy, and
Manipulation.
Yes, thank you for that word.
Wrong intentions.
Yes, they live off, and I think to myself, how can you live with yourself?
Exactly. Like, there's women that are like that. Like, how can you live with yourself wanting to interrupt somebody else's home? How can you live with yourself with wanting to try to play the victim so somebody can come save you, knowing that they're fine? Leave them be. Leave them be.
Yeah.
You know, why do you gotta? Yes, women, we're supposed to lift each other up. We're supposed to be positive. We're supposed to be, but there's some of us that aren't. I do. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I'm salty sometimes. I'm a woman. I'm a hurt woman, but I still do my best to be positive. And you know what? The people that have done that to me, I wish you all the best. But karma's a bitch, you know, and it comes back, and there's nothing you can do about it. Can't change that.
I was a kid when somebody told me this, and it made me apply it to my life. And I believe a lot of people, when they say karma, this is what I get out of it. This older man told me this. Hey, you see this seed? And he goes, this is apple seed. That's what he told me. And I said, okay. He goes, if you plant it, you're going to get good fruit. That's what he said. Then he picked up like a little piece of pebble, a rock, and he goes, let's just say this is bad seed. If you plant this, he said, nothing's going to grow good out of it, but just bad. He said, so whatever you plant, it's going to, you're going to eat of it.
Exactly.
So, and I was like, wow.
Intentions.
Yes. And you know, and then some people cry and whine when the storm comes that they created.
Yep.
You know, so, okay. So now we talked about broken mirrors. We talked about, you know, horseshoes, salt, black cats. Now, knocking on wood 2 times for good luck, or to ask the gods for a favor, or to say thank you.
Yes.
Because I've heard people say, knock on wood, whenever they said something. And I'll be honest, maybe I'm dumb. I get it, but at least I'll be dumb enough to admit, I don't know what that means when people say, knock on wood.
So it was believed that the gods lived in the trees. If you want to be specific as to the god, I'll tell you right now, I don't know. It could be God himself. It could be a Viking god. It could be a Mexica god. It could be a Mayan god. And for those that don't know, we were called Mexicas before we were called Aztecs. Aztec is a generalized term that was brought about just like saying Mexican, black, white, like a generalized term. We were Mexica before we were Aztec. And people believe the gods lived in the woods. So when you made something out of wood, you know, for good luck, that's how you ask the gods for good luck, you know, knock on wood.
Yeah.
You know, or like if you were saying thank you, like, you know, something good happened, it's like, hey, thank you. You know, knocking twice meant you were saying thank you, or it's just for good luck, because it's believed the gods lived in the woods.
Okay. Now, this one right here, I don't really know too much about. It was a ring around the moon, depending on the stars. Inside of the ring is dependent on how many days bad weather will get.
So it's like a superstition. I guess you can say it falls under the umbrella of superstition.
Okay.
If you've ever been outside, ever seen the ring or the halo around the moon, sometimes it's a little bit fuzzy. It doesn't always happen. If you look, sometimes you might hear somebody say, oh, let's see what kind of weather we're going to have. You see a ring around the moon, it's going to predict the weather, basically. Depending on how many stars are inside. If you see like 1, maybe 2, supposedly we're not supposed to have too much bad weather. But if you see more than 2, say 3, 4, 5, 6, we're going to have a few days of hard weather, a few weeks of hard weather. It all depends. Me, when I see it, I look and I'm like, okay, we're going to get some pretty funky weather for a little bit because I can smell like the air. I could feel it in my bones. You know, I'm at the age where I'm living up to the old wives' tales at this point. And I can smell the water. So there's going to be rain. I could tell, you know, storm's going to come. You could see the clouds. I do have a belief in the Mexica god. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. Tlaloc. He's like the god of thunder, lightning, rain, things like that. Like, because you say kind of the weather. So you can tell. Like I said, it just depends. Some people represent the stars as days. Some people represent them as weeks. Me, I take it as days. So like if I see 3, I'm like, okay, we're going to have like 3, maybe 5 days at the most of cold weather, winds, maybe some rain because I could smell some water. And sure enough, my kids would trip out like, Mom, how do you know that? It's like, Mom knows everything is what I would tell them, you know, but it's a superstition. Some people believe it, some people don't.
Okay, now, before we get to the last one, here's an odd one. And the reason why I bring it up is my son. He was born in Spanish, we call it remolinos, you know, those 2 swirls.
Yes.
He has
2 tornadoes.
Yes, 2 tornadoes. He has 2.
Is he very hyper?
Yes.
When he gets angry, it's very bad?
Very bad.
My son's the same way. He was born with 2 tornadoes, and a Chinese lady once told me, she goes, he's got a very, very strong personality. And I said, how do you know? She goes, because he has the 2 tornadoes in the back of his head. She goes, that is a very strong trait to have, but you have to teach him to be a strong man with it. He can't let both storms overtake him. He has to have one good storm, one bad storm to come together to be a strong man. And I was like, huh? Like, she kind of freaked me out a little when she told me, because I walked into a store and she walked up and she touched them. She goes, but he's a good soul, but teach him to harmonize both storms.
Okay. I took him to a yard sale, and I'm walking around with him. He's a youngster at the time. He's much older now, but he's a youngster. And then this one man looked at him. He goes, "Tienes dos remolinos." He has 2 tornadoes. Okay, that's bad luck.
No.
That's what he told me, and I was like, he goes, "Let me touch him." And I go, "Don't touch my son." I said, "Do not touch my son." So we walked away. We went to another yard sale. And it's so funny. Like, it wasn't even 30 minutes later. I believe she was a Filipino woman. She sees him. She looks, oh, he's got 2 tornadoes. Well, she used a different word, 2 swirls. That's good luck. Like, we were just told it was bad luck. So I never really knew or heard anything about that, if that's anything.
It's if there's 2, from what I was told, it's both.
Okay.
Not necessarily bad luck, good luck. It's just bad and good. Those are his 2 personalities, because he's very even, bad and good. Now, I've also been told when they have 1 swirl, depending on which way the swirl goes, is depending on how much more they're, like if it goes one way, I don't know the directions, but if it goes one way, he's got more of a bad, like harsh attitude. If it goes another way, he has more of a good, more kinder attitude, you know, but if they have 2, it's half and half. You
know, it's funny because I have 2 grandbabies. One of them has a swirl, let's just say, on the right side, and the other one has their swirl on the left side. Now I'm kind of curious.
Are they completely opposite?
The opposite.
There you go.
Yeah.
You just answered your own question.
Oh, there it is right there. I don't have to ask Google. Okay, now it's funny because back to my son, the one that has both. His I'm gonna be real with you. His anger issues to get the best of him. But now I will say this: when it comes to business, he's brilliant. He's very, very good. But many times I've literally had to calm him down. It's like, mijo, you cannot allow this to consume you.
Exactly.
Because, and I even feel bad even saying, I've seen him so angry sometimes that he has literally yelled and ripped off his shirts. And I've never seen anybody do that before. I've seen guys get upset and like, I'm out of here, and they start cussing when they leave or whatever. Not him. It's almost like he goes into a panic attack and he can't control it and he rips off his shirts.
It's because he harbors it. He nurtures it and keeps it in. He needs to start learning to find ways to let it out. And once he starts doing that, he'll start having some relief. I used to be the same way. I wasn't ripping my shirts off, but I'd cause enough chaos that I was having to spend money to replace stuff that I worked hard to buy.
Yeah, and then he just starts calling out anybody on the street that just looks at him.
Yeah.
You know, and I've had, bad anger issues when I was young, but like I shared on a different show, was that I never knew why I was always angry. I never knew, and I was never ever a happy person growing up. I always felt miserable, and I could never tell or understand why, you know. But it wasn't, to be quite honest with you, until I met a certain individual that began to educate me in certain things, and then, believe it or not, it almost like everything went away, like I was this new person, and I was able to see things that he wasn't, how would you say, pushing it on me. He just wanted me to read, see it for myself, make up my own mind. And I started to be honest, as I began to read, I started to cry a lot because I was letting it out.
Yeah,
you know.
and it helps. Sometimes it also does help to have the right person or the right energy around.
Yes,
You know?
and that's what he was.
Yeah, and I'm like that with a lot of people. People are like, I feel like I met you for a reason. Like, I never, under all these years, I went this way. Now here I am this way, and you came along. I've only known you a couple of days, a couple of months, a couple of weeks, whatever the case may be. And it's just in my nature to do my best to try to help people. And I'm one of those people that'll help you understand it and get rid of it.
Yes.
So you can feel better, I should say. Not be better, but feel better. Because being better is all on you. It has nothing to do with me.
You know, I'm going to share something with you really quick. And like me, I believe in God. Okay. Mm-hmm. Some people do, some people don't. Some people have different interpretations of God. But this individual wanted me to read one of the Gospels from the Bible. And I read it. When I got back to him, he asked me, what was it about that Gospel that stood out to you? You know? And I said something that I read that made me cry. And I was almost shameful enough to admit that I was like maybe 23 at the time. And he said, what was it? And I said, when Jesus said to love your enemies. And he said, why did you find that so hard? And I said, because I can't do it. And in my mind, honestly, I wanted to say, I want them dead. You know?
We've all been there.
Yeah.
I love my enemies for the simple fact that they teach me. They teach me how to be stronger, how to be, okay, well, you know what? That's what you want to bring me. Then I know that's what I don't want in my life. So I respect, and I appreciate my enemies for the simple fact that they're teaching me how to grow, how to be, in some cases, a better woman, how to be a better person. Okay, you know what? You're my enemy. You want to be this way. That's fine. You know?
Right.
By all means, go for it, because at the end of the day, you're going to be the one at the loss, not me.
Yeah.
Because I can adapt and I can weather through anything.
Right. Yeah. So he just said, you know, and he coached me through it, and he taught me what the meaning of that scripture meant. But it just blew me away that I read that, because that was the first time I ever read anything like that. Love your enemies. You know, in my mind, I'm taught, no, you kill your enemies. You know, you come against your enemies. And when I saw that, then he just broke it down to me and told me, the closer you get to God, the closer he will get to you. Only he can give you that love for them. You're not going to be able to muster anything up on your own. And that was really, really tough. And then that's when I just said, okay, then I need help with that. I truly do. I need help. And, you know, today, you know what? I've had a lot of people come against me, but I will say this, that I'm blessed. And, you know, I mean, I'm still here.
Yep.
You know?
I believe in God too, even though I know I say I am a bruja. Bruja is something that comes from my women from before I was even, you know, and what's the term? Spark in my mom's eye,
right.
Or whatever. Yes, Catholicism was chosen for me because I was baptized Catholic, but I believe in it. Am I the best Catholic? No, absolutely not. But again, like the same thing with being a bruja, like I also learned about being a Catholic and believing in God and things like that, is it comes from the heart. You don't necessarily, what I was told is you don't always necessarily need to go into a church to do it. I do around the holidays and things like that just because it gives me a sense of wholeness.
Right.
But I'm not the best practicing Catholic, but I believe in God.
Yeah.
And I have a picture of the Virgencita. For me, that's my jefita. That's my mom. That she rules my house. Because without her, without me being able to pray to her and having her guidance, I wouldn't get anywhere. I wouldn't. That's my jefita right there.
Okay. Good. I'm glad you shared that. We'll get to the last one, and then we'll open it up for a few phone calls because I don't want to take too long. We got only a couple of minutes left. Okay, one thing that I would see at actually a couple of people's homes. I know earlier we talked about pennies. We talked about silver coins on the floor. Some means no money, some means money, etc. You know what I would see in a lot of Latinos homes. When I say Latinos, I'm including whether you're Salvadorian, Guatemala, if you're Mexican, if whatever. I'm just everywhere because I had friends from everywhere.
Yeah.
And I would go to their house and I would see a bowl of rice with money in it, with coins.
That's the first time I've ever heard that, honestly.
Really?
Yes, unless I seen it when I was little and I just didn't pay attention, but I've never heard of that until you said it right now. So
yeah,
now I'm enlightened and I'm learning something.
Yeah, I remembered this woman. She was from Guatemala, and she said that way there'll always be money in the home. That's what she said. So I mean, because I went like it was. She actually had it on top of the TV, so I kind of went like this, and there were quarters, pennies, and everything in it. And I was like, all right. I had another friend that was Salvadorian, and his mom had that. So, and then a Mexican family. So I'm thinking, okay, this is
That's an older thing then maybe, because I don't know, maybe my grandma did do it and I just don't remember. The only thing I remember that's similar to that, but it's not money, is she would always keep a slice of bread in the cabinet near the dishes. And it would get, would get stale. It would get hard. When it'd get too hard, she'd get rid of it, put a new one. And I asked her, Grandma, why do we have a piece of bread up here? What's the point? She said, so there'll always be food in the house so we can always eat. That's why it's near the dishes.
Okay.
So that one I remember. The bowl of money with the rice, I don't. Okay. Honestly, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe somebody would call. I'm going to go ahead.
I'm a little whitewashed Mexican, so I apologize.
It's okay. We're going to go ahead and, let me see, turn on the Bluetooth, start taking some phone calls. Let me see. Give us 1 second. Let me connect this. Okay, connect it for audio. All right, let me make sure I got the right time because I'm not going to go over in time. I know we know we got like 20 minutes. So at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and somebody's actually already calling. Okay, did you put the number up, Alex? No. Okay, let's see. Hello, caller? Hello, caller?
Hello?
Yes, it's very, very noisy.
Hello, Tony?
Yes.
Oh, yes, man. Huge fan, man. My name's Jose. I'm calling from Yuma, Arizona.
How you doing, Jose?
Huge fan of the podcast. Doing great, man. I just want to let you know about a murder house out here in Yuma, Arizona. It's called La Mesa Murder Street. It's about a family. Real quick, it was a tranza gone wrong. The whole family got murdered. I mean, it was kids from 12, 9, and 6 years old. Anyways, I was looking for a house. I went and checked out that house, and I asked the landlord, the real estate lady, is this the Mesa Street house? And she said yes. She gave me the rundown. And that house is so sinister. It hasn't been sold since 2005. Wow. It has a lot of bad energy. I mean, the kids, 6-year-old got shot, the 9-year-old and the 12-year-old got they put a bag over their head, and it's ugly.
When did these murders happen? I've never heard of them.
Oh man, this happened in 2005.
Okay.
So it was a tranza gone wrong. I mean, the wife, I think she got decapitated.
If you
the husband, he got shot about 6 times.
If you can send that information to Tony, I do go to Yuma a lot because I've been trying to go to the territorial prison and I'll make a trip there.
Oh, yes, I was about to bring that up right now. My wife and I will be more than happy to take you there.
Absolutely,
We'll be more than happy to take you there, to be honest.
Well, you know what? Are you on Instagram at all?
We have the first woman that got... I'm sorry?
Are you on Instagram at all? Because you can send that information to...
I don't have any social media. I'm sorry. I don't have any social media. I don't like social media.
Okay, I just
do email.
Can you do the email?
I dabbled into...
Can you do the
I've seen
email
a lot
to
of people
Freaky Tales
too, like a lot
podcast?
of- yeah, definitely.
Okay, thank you.
And I want to share something with you really quick,
Yes.
real quick. We have a big Native American culture here, the Kachans, and I'm a good friend with the medicine man. And I used to go on these spirit runs with this gentleman. Every time a person would pass away, we'll meet up at the person's house. We'll get some of their Native American belongings, and we would have to run from that place all the way to the funeral house, and from the funeral house all the way back to the reservation. The reservation, and to their cemetery and do the service right there in Native American culture. And the sage is true. The sage is really true, because the medicine man, he would collect it from out there from the San Diego Sierra, out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been with I've seen a lot of people. I have different readings. I've been with, paleros. I've been with different type of brujas, different limpias and all that. And I like all this stuff. I believe that somehow, some way, I've been cleansing myself. Some people haven't worked. Some people have. I'm working with this one lady right now. I hope she's helping. I feel like she's helping, but I'm always open to seeing different people showing me different things. But I just want to say, huge fan. Thank you so much for the podcast. I rewatch it every week from episode 1 all the way to most recent episode at work.
Thank you.
Huge
Thank
fan,
you.
man.
You know what? So please, freakytalespodcast@gmail.com. Please send us that information about that murder so I can give it to her so when she can visit it when she goes to Yuma, Arizona.
Awesome. And also, one more thing. Do an episode real quick about the Santa Muerte, too.
We will.
Please.
That's coming up.
Thank you so much. Thank you
you.
so much. And many blessings and huge success to you guys.
Thank you.
Same to you.
Good night, Jose from Yuma, Arizona. And the lines are open, so those of you that want to call, you guys can go ahead and call right now, ask her a question, or maybe you want to share a story. Okay, we got another call. Hello? Hello? Caller. Okay, we'll give it about 3 more seconds. If not, we're going to hang up. Okay. Sorry about that. We couldn't hear you, caller. Go ahead and call again. Let's try again. Okay, let's see. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes.
Tony, can you hear me?
This voice sounds very familiar.
Hey, brother, how you doing?
I'm good. I want to announce to everyone who's watching right now, we got the Spice Smuggler in the house.
How are you doing?
Hi. How you doing, Nicole?
I'm
As
good.
always, I enjoy your episodes.
Thank you.
But first and foremost, I want to tell my brother that I love him and I miss him. And I can't wait for us to do the show because I have so much to say.
People are wondering, Ruben.
I lost my train of thought on one.
It's okay. People are wondering once again, because people bombard me with, when is the Spice Smuggler coming back? So give them something right now as far as when can they possibly expect you? Maybe just, I don't know, give us something.
All right, we spoke today, Tony, and you know that I have a life outside of the podcast.
Correct.
I am a few hundred miles away. I do got to deal with natural things, things in general that I got to cover without going into detail. But I don't want to get into that. I would really love to get into this discussion on some things that were talked about today on the podcast, which I really enjoyed. Where to start, I don't know. I love the thought about energies, though.
Okay.
What I want to say is this, and I don't want to reveal too much because I will be on the show and I will tell all. Energies has a lot to do with outcomes of your future. And
Okay.
It took me a long time to discover this. And we'll cover that because that's going to go on rabbit trails.
Yeah.
But I will say this up front. Excuse me. I got notified, and I'm going to try to be discreet. I got a phone call from a friend of mine that's in Hollywood. He's in, actually, he and she are in big movies that you guys are watch, and told me not to discuss a lot of things that I want to say. These are people that cross the line and are asking me if there's any trying to find the right words. If there's any redemption for them, anyway.
Okay.
And
I know where you're going with
I
this.
don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but there's going to be a lot of things to talk about, and I wish we can elaborate more on this. But I know you got other phone calls.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
I'm
but
just saying that. I'm saying I can't find the right words because in my mind right now I'm going off on rabbit trails. But I'm just trying to tell you, a sincere heart creates positive energy.
Absolutely.
And those are many secrets to I'm gonna hold back, and we'll talk about that on the show, Tony.
Okay.
But I will be back on the 1st of August.
Okay, so we're looking at sometime in August.
1st of August we'll be there.
Okay, great.
First week of August, guaranteed.
Okay, great.
I just need to be able to go and talk about everything I need to say without being interrupted.
I know, because you have so much going on in your head that by the time you're spitting it out, you already thought about 3 different things in your mind to say. So I get you.
That and if you only knew what's been, I've had a curse placed on me last month.
Okay.
On top of many other things, but hey, I'll leave it alone. I called in, just want to tell the fans, thank you so much for watching the show. And Nicole, you're a person filled with wisdom, and you're on the right track.
Thank you. I hope I get to meet you when you come in.
You will. I'm biting my tongue right now. It's really hard to say what I want to say because I can't.
Okay.
Honestly, there's
All good, Ruben.
there's we'll talk, Tony. There's things going on that are restraining me from saying things.
Okay. But listen, you have a blessed night, Spice Smuggler.
Take care. You too. Hey, and everybody, be positive.
All right.
Absolutely.
You have a good night. Bye-bye. Okay. That was a Spice Smuggler, you guys. So he said he'll be here August. So we're going to take him at his word. If not, go to his page and bombard him with, you said you were going to come. Other than that, is the number still up on the screen? Okay. It's up on the screen, and we're going to go ahead and take some more calls. So callers, let us know if you have any questions, anything you want to say, you want to share, anything you want to do, go ahead and call us now. If not, forever hold your peace. Okay, here's another call right here. Hello. Hello, caller.
Hello?
Yes.
Can I speak to Tony?
Yes. You have a question?
Yes, this is Teresita Martinez. I wanted to ask the lady, I don't know her name.
Nicole.
Sorry. Nicole. I wanted to ask, my sister, how do you know when somebody is under a spell? Because I have respect for your beliefs, but I always have questions. So
Thank you.
just want to try to, see if she's telling the truth. What's the system?
Well, if you believe your sister's under some sort of spell or somebody's done something to her, your heart knows that's your sister. So you would know she's acting different. She seems either puzzled or disorientated. She seems a little off, and she just seems like you notice, say, for example, you notice her always to be organized, but then for the last week and a half or so, she's been absolutely disorganized, and you're like, this isn't like her. Talk to her, give her some positive energy, and if she still seems kind of off, then maybe you need to see somebody that can help you go ahead and remove or get rid of whatever may be attached to her. because she's not her. Like I said, she's not going to be herself. You'll know.
Yeah.
Okay. And Tony, you're so handsome. I just want to let you know.
Thank you. Thank you. You have a blessed night now. Thank you for calling in. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Callers. Hello. We got a couple of more calls. We got a couple of more minutes, 9 more minutes if anybody wants to call and share their story, share anything they want to say. They have a question for Nicole, question for me. Maybe just want to share something that happened to their families, has been passed down to them. Maybe a friend or a brother or a sister share these things with you, and you just want to come and share it with us. Call us now. If not, forever hold your peace. So we'll leave the number up there just a little bit, and if not, we'll continue to, carry on the conversation. Now, obviously, this sister called because she was concerned for her sister. Like you said, many times when we feel something and you see something in a family member, possibly something is going on. And like what you said, you recommended that, maybe if this continues, maybe they ought to see somebody.
Yeah, because they may not have enough strength. When somebody puts a spell on you, a hex or whatever the case may be, what a lot of people don't understand is it just takes a lot of positive energy to push it out. Push the belief out. I don't believe in it. It has no bearing here. It has no power in my home, within myself, within my mind, within my heart, within my soul, with anybody connected with me. It needs to go away. A lot of the times that can work depending on how strong you are from the inside out. A lot of the times it doesn't. And that's when you need to see somebody.
Here's another phone call. Okay, let's see. Hello? Caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. You there? Okay, we'll give you a couple of more seconds, and if not, we're going to hang up. Maybe you can call back. Okay, we just hang up. Sometimes bad reception, or I'm not sure exactly what the deal is, but caller, call us back. I believe that call was from New Mexico. So, but yeah, you know what? Now, I know your Instagram has been coming up. Maybe they could even contact you.
Yes, they're more than welcome to go ahead and contact me directly via, obviously DM. I would appreciate if you don't send any stupidity, or if you're trying to troll, please don't.
Yeah.
I do. That is I have one account. That is my personal account, friends, family, whatever on it. Just if you have a question, you're more than welcome to go ahead and reach me at BouncerChick24 on Instagram.
Okay.
And I'll do my best to answer whatever I can. Like I said, I'm not at a level where I know it all, see it all, and everything. I just go by what I feel.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I can't even feel it through words. You send me a message, hey, this is what's going on. I'm going to do my best to help you in whatever way I can. I'm not going to just leave you hanging.
Have you ever, I have to ask this because I've received DMs, and it's so weird that sometimes, not all the time. Okay, here goes another call, and we'll come back to this. I don't know, somebody's calling unknown. Let's see what happens. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Are you there? Maybe because you call from a blocked number. I don't know. So.
If I know you're calling from a block number, just say what you got to say.
Okay, let me hang that up. I'm gonna try and set off the Wi-Fi again here. Okay, Roadcaster, let's go. We are connected. Let's go. Okay. Just honestly, for the sake of this podcast, I'm not gonna answer any block calls. I'm not. So if you're gonna call blocked, if you're gonna call private, I'm gonna respect your privacy and not answer. So that's what I'm.
That's doesn't get any more straightforward than that.
Okay, here it is right here. Hello, caller. Your name and where are you calling from?
Oh, yes, this is me. I am a fan.
Yes.
I'm calling from California.
Yes.
Palmdale. And yeah, I wanted to ask something, tell us stories. It's fine.
Yes. Go ahead and share.
Yeah, what I was going to say is that, I had a story happen to me. And, me and my family, and I wanted to say, you know the other woman that just talked earlier?
Yes.
Yeah, that was my mom. Just saying. But yeah, I wanted to share something that was kind of creepy, I want to say. And this story just like happened like a few months back. And what happened was is my dad, right? He had went out, so out somewhere, right? And after he left, like a day later, my mom was, just chilling outside with her friends and, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So then, about a moment later, no, I was outside. My mom had told me, right, to go upstairs because he has candles on, to make his room smell good, I guess. But anyway, yeah, she told me to go turn off and blow out the candles, right? And she didn't want nothing bad to happen. So I went to go and do that. I do that. I come back downstairs, right? And about good 10, 15 minutes later, my mom calls me out. She's all shocked, and she tells me, "Did you blow out the candles?" I said, "Yes." She tells me, "Look up at the window." So I look up, and the candles are lit again. When clearly I went up there and blew out the candles. And ever since, there's been no funny experiences or anything like that. It's crazy.
Okay. Anything you can...
That, so if I'm right, scientifically, the little smoke that comes when you blow out a candle, sometimes it can reignite from the embers in the wick, but spiritually and more powerfully, you blew them out, and maybe they weren't ready to be blown out, because even though they may have been lit to make the house smell nice, for whatever reason, they were adding some sort of, say, protection or to drive out some energy. And because all the bad or negative energy hadn't been driven out yet, the candles decided, hey, it's not done. We need to stay on a little bit longer. So they stayed on specifically for that purpose.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Just was wondering why that would happen.
Yeah, and if you haven't had anything negative or bad happen and everything seems like you have some sort of peace, that's why. They weren't ready to be out yet, and they just needed to clear out more of whatever negative or bad stuff that was hanging around. So they relit themselves, which scientifically can happen. It kind of goes both ways.
That night, everyone, like my mom's friends and everyone were all shocked, and even me, I was like scared. Like, even talking about it, my voice, like it was crazy. But thank you for the information
you're welcome.
You gave me about that.
Yes, thank you for calling.
I feel a little bit more.
Just be thankful. When you go back to that same room, just say thank you. That's all you have to do is just say thank you for the help.
It's because, even me, I see spirits and stuff like that, and I had very past, experiences, and I want to say it could have been my grandpa. We called him Grandpa Junie, and that's what's crazy. It's crazy.
Okay. Thank you for calling. Thank you for taking time to share that with us. Greatly appreciate
I wanted
it.
to share that.
Okay, great. You have a blessed night now. Bye-bye. Okay, that was our last call. We ran out of time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I had a great time. Nicole, I hope you had a great time.
Absolutely. I always do.
Great. Hopefully next time you come, you get to meet the spice smuggler.
Yes, I want to meet him. He called me adorable. Of course I want to meet him.
Awesome. So we're going to go ahead and I don't know if there's any, we could take these off now. I don't know if there's anything you want to say to anyone. You want to give a special shout out? Anything to family members?
As always, I want to give a special shout out to my Ride or Die squad, my kids. They're my true Ride or Dies.
Yes.
I'm nothing without them. To my girls, especially Twin, thank you for the support. To mi familia, my friends, for the support. Cartman and the squad, thank you guys for listening and supporting. And last but certainly not least, I know this wasn't your favorite subject, but thank you, Baby Boo, for the support. Appreciate it.
Awesome. And me, I just want to give a special...
And to Tony.
Yes. Special shout out to Nicole for coming and joining with me on Freaky Tales podcast episode 28. So we won't be back next Friday, but the following Friday, every other Friday, until I finish recording this documentary that I'm doing. Then eventually we'll go back to every Friday with other guests along with the Spy Smuggler. Also, let me give a shout out to Anthony, the Hip Hop Jedi, and Alex Cervantes Enterprise for for making all this happen. And we want to thank you, everybody that's been on the live chat. For those of you that weren't on the live chat, those of you that liked, commented, subscribed, everything, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So we want to thank you so much. And if you're the gentleman that called from Yuma, Arizona, please, freakytalespodcast@gmail.com. Email us that information of that home. We greatly appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys in about 2 weeks. And once again, expect the unexpected. Nicole, thank you once again.
Thank you again.
Have a blessed
for
night.
having me. I loved it.
Thank you. So long.